with that?
We can go to maybe emotion coaching.
Yeah, what is that?
Emotional intelligence is, so emotion coaching is actually increasing people's emotional intelligence. And I also...
Like IQ, emotional IQ? Or?
Yeah, so you've heard of IQ.
I've got the emotional intelligence book.
Okay. There are quite a few emotional intelligence books,
Yeah.
and a couple of different models about what it is and that kind of stuff. For me, emotional intelligence means being aware of your own feelings, being able to label those feelings, knowing where you feel it in your body. And
physically?
Physically, sure. I mean, when you
okay, that makes sense.
When you have fear, you might feel that in the pit of your stomach, or
sure.
you might feel it in your feet, like you need to run, or something. So you're going to feel it somewhere. If you're nervous, you might feel a kind of a tightness around your neck,
mm-hmm.
or something. So you can feel it in your body. And then being able to regulate those emotions. So that means
really?
sort of, is it appropriate for me to express this emotion right now? If not, when and where can I express? What does expression look like? If I'm sad, is it really appropriate for me to be like crying and stuff in the middle of a classroom? So it's about learning how to control those emotions and saying, I'm feeling sad right now, and I'm acknowledging and honoring those feelings in myself, but saying this isn't the time, so I need to reorient my thinking, use my thinking, which is the intelligence part of it, use my thinking to regulate that and say, I'm here right now, but I'm feeling sad, and later on, I might go home and have a good cry.
Mm-hmm. Is that part of like an emotional boundary? Is that...
You could think of it as a boundary, sure. Yeah. It takes some thinking, and so that's where the emotional intelligence part of it comes in, intelligently responding to your own emotions. And emotional intelligence also involves, though, recognizing and labeling feelings in others and being able to empathize with them, and then managing other people's emotions. So if I'm seeing you crying, how am I going to respond to that in an intelligent and empathetic way? So the emotional coaching then is teaching people how to be more aware of their own emotions and how to regulate them, and also to learn how to recognize emotions in others and label and recognize them, and to manage them and how I'm going to respond to them. Anybody can do this. Emotion coaching is actually really, really effective when it comes to children, because they're so impressionable, and what we teach our children as they're growing up really impacts them later on in life.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So my program, once again, Doctors John and Julie Gottman, which they wrote John Gottman wrote the 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. Well, John's wife, Julie, is actually a psychologist as well, and she's worked with families. She's a clinical psychologist. She's worked with families, and she developed with John the emotional intelligence coaching, emotion coaching it's called.
And you're certified in this?
Well, I use the program in my private sessions with families,
right.
And I help them educate. And so I work with the parents. Their program is only a part of the overall emotion coaching program that I do, because when you give the information to the parents,
yes.
What if these parents aren't emotionally intelligent, and we're trying to teach emotional intelligence to the children?
What if they can't recognize the gift you've given them?
Exactly.
Kids, right?
So when a parent doesn't recognize, oh, my child is crying, I better respond to that. How am I going to respond to that? They might not realize, oh, well, they're not crying because they're sad. They're crying because they're hurt.
Yeah.
Or because they're angry or whatever. Or maybe their needs are not being met. So it's about learning to recognize. So I work with the parents as well in increasing their own emotional intelligence, as well as how to teach this to their children and how to be emotionally available to their children as well.
So you create tools and you form a toolkit for them. For
yes.
the children and the parent.
Absolutely.
Have you ever heard of this saying, and I love this saying, if the only tool you have is a hammer, have you heard that saying?
I haven't.
Oh, this is brilliant. I love this. If the only tool you have is a hammer, suddenly everything else around you starts looking like a nail.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that neat?
That is interesting.
And then they try to put, okay, I'm just gonna hammer away at it with the same old tool, and I'm not gonna change the tool, and you get terrible results. So you build separate tools for.
Yes,
and that's important,
So John and Julie, I use their program because it's very, very well put together, and I don't want to take anything away from their program. It's
Sure.
a great program. So I do
Are they
use
Christian
that.
based?
I don't think so. I think that John Gottman, I think, is Jewish of that persuasion, but I don't know for sure exactly where they're coming from. But you know what? To me, the program doesn't matter if it's Christian based or not, because God created us all with emotions,
Right.
and our God created us in His image, and so God has emotions.
I'm so glad you said that, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people saying, well, I'm going to go to a coach, but I only want to go to a Christian-based coach. But what you said is important. You've taken a training program. You are a Christian. So you've taken it, interwoven it
Right.
through your faith, and now you can present it, and it's not scary because, I don't want to go to this coach because they're not Christian-based. Well, you've taken training.
Right.
And you've put it into the Christian perspective. I think that's so important. Don't you?
I do put it into a Christian perspective for people who want a Christian perspective.
Right, yeah.
But I can also work well with people who are not Christians. I will work with anybody, they can be even atheist.
Well, that's the part of the toolkit, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's quite an adaptable thing where it doesn't matter what your faith persuasion is.
Nice.
I can still work with you.
Perfect.
And so with John and Julie's program, I do have that, use that in our sessions, but because I believe that, I believe very strongly that as adults, we also have to continue to increase our own emotional intelligence. I've created exercises and, journaling and that kind of thing to work with the parents to increase their emotional intelligence. So that way they're both getting the help and enhancing, because emotional intelligence, one of the benefits from this is, how you hear about these soft skills.
Yeah.
And these are the soft skills that people are talking about when it comes to success in life. If you don't have these soft skills, you're not going to get hired in a job. You're not going to get along well with other people. And playing nice, that's where it all happens. That's where success is. Success is in your relationships. And if you can't play nice, then your relationships aren't going to be successful. So this is where soft skills are built.
You can be very soft but extremely powerful in the same breath, can you not? Like we were talking about Jeff and how he has a soft heart. Right?
Absolutely.
And you can also be a leader as well.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
doesn't mean that you have to be a crotchety old fart, right?
Right. And the thing about I believe that good leaders are soft leaders.
Yeah.
I believe that they're approachable.
Yeah.
I believe that they are
Like Zig Ziglar.
yeah.
Remember Zig Ziglar?
Yeah.
What a wonderful man.
And
Dave Ramsey.
sure.
Dave Ramsey?
I've heard of Dave Ramsey, and so all of these leaders that come with a soft and serving heart, I think that they're the best leaders.
Yeah, me
because
too.
they're the ones that people want to follow.
Yeah. They're servants first.
Yeah, like you can be a leader by title, and then people have to follow you,
Yes.
but they might not do it willingly.
Yeah.